Right?
Hey Lucas,
Hey, what's up?
how are you?
I'm fine. This is a pleasure. It's the first time I give an interview in English, actually.
Oh, that's good. That's
So
good.
I really thrilled to be part of this. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Lucas. No problem at all. So, how was your day so far?
Yeah, quite nice. Weather's fine. In home, protecting from the pandemic. So slow but nice.
Sounds sounds good. So, Lucas, on August 13th, you released your single, O Egoista. So, can you tell me
Yeah.
a bit about this single and the songwriting and the production behind this particular single?
All right. So on the production and songwriting point of view, it was innovative inside the band because we never did it this way. Each member recorded their parts at home, no, and we sent it to they sent it to me. I so I structured the whole song there, and we saw, okay, this is fine, this is okay, we can record it for real.
Mhm.
Then it's the first time we did it this way at a long distance.
Yeah.
So it was an experiment, but the result was quite nice, and I enjoyed the process. I enjoyed discovering a new ways of making music. I discovered that it can work even if we can't be together.
Yeah.
Being
Yeah.
together apart. So it was a really nice experience, and it's good too because we tried to make something different from all of our records, our previous records.
Mhm.
Our first album is much more metalcore uh, oriented, and our second album is like I can even label it. It's really different, but in not in a light way of saying this. It's odd. It's different from the band. It's different from our first record. So
Yeah.
this time we tried something completely different from these two previous releases, and the result was quite interesting because it really sounds like Maieuttica, even though it's different from everything Maieuttica has released in the past. It's really good. So I'm really happy. We are all really happy about how we could manage this
Yeah.
and how the result came to be. So yeah, it was a really good experience. It is new for us all. So
Sounds
I
good.
I'm looking forward for new releases on this same way.
Sounds good.
Since we can't still leave our houses because the pandemic in Brazil is still
Yeah.
really complicated. Uh, Discovering that we can still continue as a band even though we don't see a stage, even though we don't tour, it was revigorating. I'm relieved that we didn't have to quit at all.
I get you. So, how is how you guys are planning to forecast from here? Like, since the pandemic situation and you're not able to go on touring and stuff, but it should be hard on bands over there. So, what would be the steps you would take to make it worthwhile? So, how do you plan to promote the songs and the albums that you're planning to make?
you know, uh, I don't think things will ever be the same as they were before, but this doesn't have to be a bad thing. We just need to adapt and discover how to keep promoting music only on the internet while we can't go back to stages and the road. And you know it's completely possible. There are new bands that are being born in Brazil and internationally that they never seen a stage yet, and still they can't make a fan base. They can make uh, content and build a relationship with their fans exclusively on the internet, only on the internet. So it is possible. It's not it's not something we are used to do. We're much more road oriented band, on the years before the pandemic. We were always making concerts and shows and
Yeah.
different states, different cities. So it's new for us, but we are willing to learn. We're willing to put our past in a special place, but focusing on the future. We're moving forward. So yeah, we're trying to learn the ways of the internet, and basically this will be our reality for quite some time. So our plans to promote it are exclusively on making internet content while we
Yeah.
can't go back to the stages, basically. But it's doable. It's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
So we're confident. We can do it. We can do it.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So, do you guys have any plans for putting up a full-length album this year or possibly early next year?
Full length is quite complicated because people nowadays don't pay attention to music for more than 2 3 minutes. So
Yeah.
it's kind of complicated to hope that this new generation that are accustomed to TikToks, stories, reels, and short snippets of songs everywhere to pay attention to a full length album. I mean, 8 or more songs, right?
Yeah.
For a musician, the full length is still a enriching experience. We are born and raised always listening to albums, full albums, and we want to have those. We want to have those in our discography, but you have to be a little more realistic. What can be done is like we can release singles and maybe an EP, and then put it all together in a full length album later. But a whole full album of new songs, it's probably something that we won't see anymore, both from Maieuttica
Yeah.
and famous artists, new bands, in a couple years, if not now. So no, yeah, answering you more directly, we don't plan to release a full length album in 2021 or the next year,
Okay.
but
That's good.
maybe EPs and singles.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. So, Lucas, can you tell me how Maieuttica started and how you guys all got together as a band?
Oh yeah, Maiotica started a long time ago. Actually, the idea of Maiotica, the first uh, prototype of the band, wow, it was I think 2008 or nine. There were two friends from a neighborhood here in Rio de Janeiro that got together because they love the same songs. They're like, oh, okay, let's start a band, like everyone else does. But the name was already there because one of them liked philosophy a lot, and this Socratic theory.
Yeah.
Uh, and then as the years passed, they grow they grew the idea a little more, and thought, okay, let's make it real now. And they got a lot other musicians, but it was still an experiment. It's not anything like the state that Maiotica is now. But okay, the band was already there somehow. But it was in 2011 that they really started as a road band, as a professional band. We thought, okay, this is it. We're not a hobby anymore. We're not something like a teenager want to do anymore. Now we're a band. So it's been 10 years since it started officially
Yeah.
as a real band. And the formation already changed a lot in the couple of years.
Mhm.
Like there aren't no more original founding members. But from this first official lineup, we have the vocalists. They are still the original ones, let's say. And wow, it was kind of bumpy road, but we're still here. We're strong, and I can say for sure that this lineup right now that you see, me, Frank, Alan, Arthur, and Bruno, is the best one we ever had, because the more professional one we ever had, the more willing to do the hard work that we ever had. So I'm kind of happy to be part of it. And another curious fact is like one of those two friends that I said that started the whole
Yeah.
idea back there. He was the founding guitarist of Maieuttica, guitarist, and I got to know him. I was his friend, and unfortunately, in 2013, he passed away
Oh,
in an accident. And back then, I said to myself, okay, now I have to continue his legacy because I love that guy, and it cannot die with him. I'll be there. And 2 years later, they invited me to be part of it. So it's
oh,
an honor for me, to be continuing his legacy, to continue the story that he started 13 years ago or so, you know. And here we are on the best shape Maiotka has ever been.
awesome, awesome, awesome. So, I know, how is the reception in Brazil, and how is the support from the other part of the world?
Well, in Brazil, it's a sensitive subject because rock is no longer the the main musical genre that Brazilians listen to. Um, Actually, it's quite some time. It's not anymore the main popular music genre. So it's the reception on Brazil for metalcore, new metal, and newer genres in subgenres inside the metal realm. It's not that uh, it's not that good yet. Once it was in the 2000s when the pop punk and the emo and melodic hardcore was all about, but since it died a little, nowadays it's kind of complicated to be in a metal band in Brazil, a little harder than the other places in the world. I don't know every place in the world, but especially on United States and Europe, it's a little harder here. We have some names that are worldwide famous,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Sepultura, Angra, Crisium, and some others like Nervosa, Crypta now. But it's a challenge because you may spend years, even decades, trying and trying and trying, and it's somehow easier to make a fan base outside Brazil than in Brazil. Something about us make the world a little curious. Maybe it's the exotic factor. I don't know. But whenever people hear about a new Brazilian band rising up, they get a little curious, But we here we don't listen too much of that. We don't hear people saying, "Oh, check out this new band! You have to check this new band." No, it's like, another band that's gonna try and try and try and not make it to fandom. So it's hard. It's really hard. But yeah, that's the life, and we can't change that because there's always a bigger scheme. There's always a bigger industry behind this. We just have to keep fighting, keep dreaming, keep trying, and keep trying to be professional in a do-it-yourself way. Here we are, 40 years, 50 years later since the rise of do-it-yourself culture started, and we're still there.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And would you like to share some of the great moments that you had over the years?
In all in these years that I'm with Maieuttica, right?
Yes, yes.
Well, obviously the when I joined up, this is the best moment. It was like a rupture in my life, a turning point, of things. Because before that, I was this bedroom musician. I had some bands with friends, but nothing that really stood out, and nothing that really could be called a band, a professional band. And Maiotica was my first one, and I was a fan before I was a member. So that's probably the best moments I ever had in music so far. Uh, Another special moment for us was in 2015 when we were finalists of a contest to play in Rock in Rio, the world famous event, the biggest in our country, one of the biggest in the world. And we got really close to being there, we were only 4 years of band back then, so it was really important for us to see that we could do that. It was soon in our career. Still, it was a big accomplishment. We didn't actually go play, but we were finalists, so it's something, especially in the early days of your career. It's something. It's nice. Makes you dream a little. The third moment, I'd say, it was when we recorded the second album. People don't know that. A lot of people don't know that, but the second album, Hiatus, it was recorded in Los Angeles. It was an experience for us because we never traveled abroad to play or do something related to music. It's the first time, and we got to know Hollywood, the Boulevard, Santa Monica Beach, and record in the US where the biggest artists are, and especially California. It's like everybody wants to go to California at least once to see those scenes that we all see in the movies, in the shows. We're like, oh my God, I got to be there sometime. And yeah, I was there. I recorded there. It's forever, it's really special for me. And the last special moment was probably when we finished the mixing and mastering of O Egoísta, the last song, because this meant something extra. We were worried that the band wouldn't keep up, the band wouldn't survive the pandemics, and no, we did it. We made it. It's real. It's there, and now people can listen to it. And the result is quite nice. It's something that I would personally listen to. If it was somebody else made that song, I was like, wow, that's a nice song. I want to listen to that, and I put it on my playlist. So yeah, that was special. That's something else.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And what would be the next plans for the band?
Okay, we have more songs ready to be released. Just waiting for the moment. We're finishing the Egoista campaign. There's still some more content to go live, and after that we're going to start the next thing. We have an EP to release, and we have a single, but it's a special single. I don't want to be the spoiler alert here, but we're making something that different from everything we made in our career so far. And I don't know how far can I say it so at this point, but we're paying homage to a huge artist from our country, from the rock artist from our country of all time. Soon you're gonna know some more. We're gonna release some details, and yeah, so until the end of the year, we have 2 more big releases to be born.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And you guys have any plans to write materials in English in the future?
Yeah, that's something that always stays around us. We are always thinking about it. So is it the time? So is it the time? We want to do that now, and we think about that all the time. We want to do that, but we are still trying to figure out how to adapt our songs that they are thought in Portuguese. They're composed in Portuguese. They're recorded in Portuguese. So it's gonna be a real different process, since we still didn't start that actually. So first we're gonna just finishing adapting to this new reality, the new way of doing things, and after that we're gonna start trying this new English spoken music thing, but yeah, it's gonna work sometime. It needs to happen sometime, I think. As much as we love to believe that a music sung in Portuguese can fare well abroad in other countries, it's still a little harder to make the internet really want to try that, really want to experience that, because I don't know what the reasons for sure, but I just know that bands in Brazil that sung in English always fared better outside Brazil, historically speaking. All these big names like Sepultura, Angra, Crisium, the Nervosa guy, girls, and Crypto, they all sing in English, and people accept that both
Yeah.
inside and outside Brazil. So yeah, maybe if we want to build an international fan base, we're gonna have to do that. So yeah.
But it's not, obviously it's not, you have to sing in English, but there are bands who have made it big around the world. Bands like Rammstein, for example. So they sing only in German, but they are throughout the world. So it is not exactly the language. So how it is reached to the people, that makes sense, I believe. What do you think?
Yeah, I love the example you chose. Rammstein is one of my favorite bands of all time. It's probably the top two bands of my life, and we all like Rammstein inside Maieuttica, and we love to use them as an inspiration for that. Just
Yeah,
as you said, they sing only in German, and
yeah,
still they have one of the biggest fan bases of the world.
absolutely.
It's not easy, how many more bands besides Rammstein do you know that do that? So it's possible, it's not impossible, but
Yeah,
it's not easy, and we hope to achieve that someday, and especially if we don't need to translate our songs.
yeah.
It would be a pleasure to be one of the Portuguese speaking bands that can make a fan base outside Brazil. I love to believe that we can do that sometime, but it's good to be prepared. Just in case if we can't do that, let's do it in English and go ahead.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So, Lucas, so what did you like to say to the people who are new to Maiotica? So, how do you want to introduce the band to them?
Oh yeah. Well, to those who don't know Maiotka yet, well, I hope you give us a chance. I hope you enjoy our song, and even though it's not in English, even though it's not the the yeah, that's that. Even though it's not in English, because we have something more to add. It's we really tried. We are I don't know, man. We love music and we love doing this, and we want to do this forever. We want to die doing this if possible. So give us a chance. Give us a chance. It's nice to know something new. It's nice to know something different. And as far as I can say, I don't know many bands that sound like Maiotica. So maybe it's a new experience for you all.
Yeah, sounds good.
I think you like it, even though we have this language stuff and the difference, the sound and the love for music, for rock, for metal is still there. So we're together, even though we're not the same. So give us a chance.
Sounds good. Sounds good, Lucas. And what would be the dream for the band?
The dream.
Yeah,
Well, I think I can say for almost every musician in the world, the dream is to make a living exclusively of that. So in the state of the metal, both in Brazil and in the world, it's not easy to make a living only through metal, only through music. And if we manage to do that someday, we can quit our jobs and live only for that, for music, doing music, and especially if it's Maiotica and tours and everything. That's the dream. That's probably the biggest dream ever.
sounds great.
Be recognized and live through Maiotica.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Sounds great. And Lucas, finally, what would be the message for your fans around the world?
I like to thank you all for staying with us. It's not being easy. It's not a calm ride. It's really complicated. And if we are still here, it's because of you all. It's because somebody believes in Maiotica, believes in us besides ourselves. And this fuels the fire every day. Every day, it's we could be doing something else. We could be, engineers, lawyers, and medics. But no, we're musicians. We're trying really hard on a really hard reality in a really hard country to make a living. And yeah, we're still here somehow. So thank you so much for helping us, for being there for Maieuttica. As long as you're still there, as long as there are new Maieuttica fans coming up, we're gonna be there too. The Maieuttica won't die.
Sounds great, Lucas. And Lucas, thank you so much for giving me the time today to have this interview with you. It was amazing. And thank you so much for the music you guys are giving. You guys are making tremendous music and it's so awesome. Thank you so much for that. And thanks again. You have a good day ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for the opportunity. If something sounded a little off, it's just because it's the first time I'm doing an interview in English, so I'm kind
Oh,
of
that's
nervous
perfectly
here.
fine, Lucas. It's all
But
good.
I'm really happy that it happened. Yeah, this is something special for me too. It's like a first time. You can't forget your first moments and everything. So thank you so much for inviting us, for having us here. Thank you.
Let's make this makes it so special for me as well. A special moment, I would say. Thank you, Lucas.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you have a great day ahead. Take care. Bye bye.
Yeah, you too. See
Yeah,
ya.
bye. Cheers.